Topic introduces the binomial model for option valuation, a foundational framework used to estimate the value of options through a discrete time approach. The binomial model assumes that the price of an underlying asset can move to one of two possible values during each period, an upward movement or a downward movement. By evaluating these potential price paths and the corresponding option payoffs, analysts can determine the current fair value of an option using no arbitrage principles. The model is widely used because it provides intuitive insight into option pricing and forms the conceptual basis for more advanced derivatives valuation techniques. The binomial model begins by specifying the current underlying asset price, exercise price, risk-free interest rate, time to expiration, and possible up and down price movements. At expiration, the option's payoff depends on the relationship between the underlying asset price and the exercise price. For a call option, the payoff equals the positive difference between the asset price and strike price if the option finishes in the money. For a put option, the payoff equals the positive difference between the strike price and asset price. Once future payoffs are determined, the model works backward through the binomial tree to calculate the option's present value. A central feature of the binomial model is the use of replication and no arbitrage principles. The model constructs a portfolio consisting of the underlying asset and risk-free borrowing or lending that replicates the option's future payoffs. Since the replicated portfolio and the option generate identical future cash flows, they must possess the same current value under no arbitrage conditions. The portfolio's composition is determined using the hedge ratio, also called delta, which measures the sensitivity of the option's value to changes in the underlying asset price. This replication approach forms the theoretical foundation of modern option pricing methodologies. Risk-neutral valuation is another important concept within the binomial model framework. Instead of relying on actual investor expectations regarding future asset price movements, the model uses risk-neutral probabilities that ensure expected returns on the underlying asset equal the risk-free interest rate. These probabilities are mathematical constructs rather than true forecasts of market outcomes. Under risk-neutral valuation, the expected option payoff is discounted at the risk-free rate to determine present value. This approach simplifies option valuation and maintains consistency with no arbitrage pricing principles. Risk-neutral pricing has become a cornerstone of derivatives valuation across modern financial markets and quantitative finance. The single-period binomial model provides a simplified framework for understanding option valuation, but practical applications often require multiple periods. Multi-period binomial trees divide the option's life into several intervals, allowing the underlying asset price to move upward or downward during each step. This structure creates numerous potential price paths and increasingly realistic valuation outcomes. The model evaluates option values backward from expiration to the present by discounting expected future payoffs at each node in the tree. As the number of periods increases, the binomial model produces increasingly precise option valuations and converges toward continuous time pricing frameworks such as Black-Scholes. The binomial model is especially valuable for valuing American-style options, which can be exercised at any time before expiration. Unlike European-style options, American options require analysts to evaluate whether early exercise provides greater value than holding the option until maturity. At each node in the binomial tree, the model compares the immediate exercise value with the continuation value derived from expected future payoffs. This flexibility makes the binomial approach particularly useful for options involving dividends, interest payments, or changing market conditions where early exercise may become advantageous. Consequently, the model offers greater practical versatility than some continuous time alternatives. Several factors influence option values within the binomial framework. Higher underlying asset prices generally increase call option values and decrease put option values. Greater volatility increases the value of both calls and puts because larger price fluctuations improve the likelihood of favorable outcomes for option holders. Longer time to expiration typically raises option premiums by increasing uncertainty and opportunity for profitable movements. Higher interest rates usually increase call values and reduce put values because of the impact on discounting and carrying costs. These relationships observed in the binomial model align closely with broader option pricing theory and market behavior. Topic ultimately demonstrates that the binomial model provides a powerful and intuitive framework for understanding option valuation and derivative pricing principles. By combining replication, no arbitrage relationships, and risk-neutral valuation, the model explains how option prices are determined from underlying asset dynamics and future payoff structures. The ability to value both European and American options across multiple periods makes the binomial model highly flexible and widely applicable in practice. Mastery of binomial option valuation concepts enables analysts and investors to better understand derivatives pricing, risk management, and the theoretical foundations underlying modern financial engineering and investment strategies.